170 years ago, three brothers on the Eastern Shore heard horrible news. All three men were enslaved. An ad appeared in local newspapers announcing they would be put on the auction block on the day after Christmas.
Oh my, everyone knew what that almost certainly meant. The brothers would soon be sent off in chains to the Deep South, never to see family and friends again. But these three brothers had a secret weapon on their side. A figure who will be familiar to everyone on Delmarva, and Jim Duffy of Secrets of the Eastern Shore is here to tell us how those brothers escaped the auction block and find a way to freedom. Jim, thank you for being here this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, okay, so let's just cut right to the chase.
All right.
What was their
No
secret
suspense.
weapon?
All right, these three brothers, they all had the last name of Ross.
Ross.
And history buffs in the viewing audience here may be familiar with a young woman who was born with the name Araminta Ross. She grew up, escaped slavery, found her way to freedom, and changed her name to Harriet Tubman.
The secret weapon.
Secret weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the word gets out that these brothers are going to be sold. Harriet is up north in freedom, and she leaps into action. And she comes up with this plan. She sends a carefully coded letter using a biblical phrase to get word to the brothers that she's coming down, and the story that unfolds is, it's probably her most famous escape, the Christmas escape of 1854, and it's very intricate, all these twists and turns. But let's just focus for Christmas, because Christmas is such a family-oriented thing.
Right.
There's two love stories involved with two of the brothers in this escape. So the plan is they're going to go from Dorchester County, where they live, and they have to travel up to Caroline County, where their parents live. Should be no problem, but these two brothers have love affairs. One of them is going to end sadly, and the other one is going to end happily. So let's take the sad one first. Robert Ross is married to a woman named Mary. They have two children and a third on the way. Not just on the way, but banging on the door, ready to go.
On the way.
He is supposed to go to Caroline County on Christmas Eve.
Right.
That's when she goes into labor.
Oh boy.
He does go away, but he goes away and he gets a midwife. Comes back and waits. Time is ticking. He's supposed to be there at a certain time. Waits for the birth. This baby girl is born. The two of them are together with the baby girl. They decide to name her Harriet. He is sitting there. He's very restless. She asks him what's wrong. He makes up a terrible story about how he hired himself out to work on. Nobody is working at this time. And he tells this terrible story, and she doesn't believe it, and he walks out, and he hears his wife crying, and he comes back in. He's going to go either way, either on the auction block or whatever. And she says, when you go, don't forget me and the children. And then he finally gets up super late and barely makes it in time and go up there. So that's one love affair that ends on Christmas. The second love affair, Ben and Jane. They had fallen in love. They lived by Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge along Buttons Creek is his name. Jane was owned by a terrible, mean, awful man named Horatio Jones. They had asked Horatio Jones for permission to get married, and he had denied. But the two of them come up with a plan. And this woman, on the morning of Christmas Eve, walks off the farm. The alarms on the farm go off. She walks to a nearby garden, and there, hidden somewhere under a tree or a certain plant, is a package. And in that package is a new set of clothes, except that it is a man's clothes. And she walks out of the garden past all the various sentries and people looking for the missing woman, and none of them are looking for a
Man.
You didn't expect the gender-bending turn on the Underground Railroad, did you? And so they made it up to Caroline County, and all three brothers, with Harriet's help, made it from there up into freedom.
Up into freedom.
Up into freedom.
Oh, my goodness. So,
Now there's one little thing about the story with Robert and Mary that's so heartbreaking, with that scene of the infant. We don't know really what happened to Mary, and we don't know what happened to the infant girl, but remember they had two other children. Right? And remember what Mary said, please don't forget me and the children. After the Civil War, 2 of Robert's children ended up in a bad situation. It was supposed to be an apprenticeship program, but it was more like a continuation of slavery, and they were being treated horribly. And some local people got word up to Robert that his 2 sons were in trouble, and Robert arranged with a guy named John Bowley here to sail across the Choptank River, steal his kids from them, and the kids made it up to Robert and were reunited with their father up in upstate New York.
Wow.
So he did not forget the request that his wife made, and that part of the family was reunited too.
That's a wonderful story. Thank you so much.
Wonderful talking
Jim
to you.
Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.